Okay, I'm starting the broadcast now. Okay, the broadcast is live now, so um, let's wait a bit to see if we have any viewer. Because from the live panel here, there's
So this
only
is the slide,
0
right?
viewer.
Okay.
So
The
you're
slide.
projecting the slide.
Yes, he's projecting it.
All right.
Okay, we will wait for 5 minutes max, and if there's no people after 5 minutes, we will just start the presentation procedure directly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to remind everyone again, please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we have one viewer, so I think we can start. So are you ready? Can we start now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Yes, I am ready. Tina, are you ready? Um,
Okay. Okay, so please mute your microphone when you are not speaking.
Masi-
Okay. Okay. Hello, IFMSA. Welcome to the online presentation of the host election of African Regional Meeting 2018. I'm the IFMSA Vice President for Public Relations and Communication, Jamie. And today we also have the IFMSA Vice President for Members, Cetria, to facilitate this online presentation, as well as our Regional Director for Africa, Ala. So we have received one application for the host, which is from ZiMSA-Zimbabwe. Okay, so before we officially start, the candidates will have 15 minutes to present their candidature. And after that, we will have the Q&A session. So if you haven't submitted your questions to the regional director, you can still submit your questions in the chat box of this webinar. Okay, so I will leave the floor to ZiMSA-Zimbabwe.
um,
Shall we start?
Sorry, I got logged out. You can start now.
all right. Good afternoon, IFMSA. My name is Philip Chida, and I'm Animal President of Zimbabwe. We're going to make a presentation on our online candidature for the 2018 African Regional Meeting in June next year in Zimbabwe. So with me here, I'm going to make a presentation. We have Auxilia, we have Tino, and we have Masimba, and in the presentation. So our presentation will last to, and by the end of the presentation, we have to convince you that to host this African regional meeting.
So,
we can have the next slide. Okay. So what are we presenting on today? We're going to present on, I'll just show you some pictures of Zimbabwe. I'll tell you a bit more on ZiMSA. Then Tino will tell you a bit on why we want to host this and the dates for the African regional meeting. We'll talk a bit on the theme, the city, the venue, the budget, and the sponsorship strategy. Masimba will finish up by telling us about the political situation in Zimbabwe. We have all the questions which you may have for us. Okay. If we can have the next slide. Okay. So if you hear about Zimbabwe, generally, one of the first things you think of is Victoria Falls. So that's just one of the pictures of the mighty Victoria Falls, the mighty Zambezi River, where the beautiful Victoria Falls is located. Yeah, the next slide. Okay, so that's a picture of some guys who are just flying over the falls, seeing the beauty of the Zambezi River. If we can have the next slide. Yes. All right, thank you. So there was a slide which showed the ruins, the Zimbabwe ruins. This is the place where the name Zimbabwe comes, which means the House of Stone. If you read our candidature, you might have seen that it was titled the House of Stone. So we are looking forward to welcoming the African region to the House of Stone next. A bit about ZiMSA. So ZiMSA just stands for Zimbabwe Medical Students Association, which is a student. It is the largest and which is the only one. We became a full member of IFMSA in 2015, and the presentation was actually made by Oxy, who was actually part of this call. A student-led organization with a membership of over 1,000 from all the 3 medical schools in Zimbabwe. We have 3 medical schools in Zimbabwe. And of note is that we are affiliated to the Zimbabwe Medical Association, which is the association which represents health professionals, particularly doctors in the country. So they are more of our mother body. Okay, next slide, please. So on the next slide, we just have a picture of our ZiMSA delegates at the August meeting in Tanzania. This is just a picture of them there. So at this point, I'll leave Tino to talk a bit on why we want to.
Right. Hi guys, I'm Tino. Right. So what motivates us to? First thing is, can you hear me? All right. First thing of note is that we have noted that most of the things that happen.
Sorry, Tino, I think your microphone is muted. Can you unmute your microphone? Thank you.
All right, is that better?
Yes, yes, we can now hear you.
Okay. All right. Okay, awesome. All right. So as I was saying, it seems as though most of the activities that we do in the IFMSA in African region, in the African region in particular, seems to be focused more in the north of Africa, which is not pretty representative. So there's little activity in the southern part. There's a lot right down south. So it's important for us to explore. And it's another way to equip our members and expose them to more IFMSA activities, grow just outside mid school, and attain skills through organizing and being part of such an event. Just to share the beauty of our country, a very nice, lovely country that you see. I think the president has done justice to most of them. Okay, next slide, please.
All right, thank you, Tino, for presenting on the dates and that. So I'm going to present on the city and the venue now. So we decided that, okay, so the slide which is just coming on the city and the venue, it's just a photo of Harare, which is taken, it's a beautiful photo of the city. It's a beautiful city, by the way. If you want to look it up, you can see more beautiful images of the city. So the next slide, please. Harare is the proposed city where we want to host the African Regional Meeting come June 2018. So Harare, a little bit of information on it. It is the capital city of Harare. And why we chose Harare? We know that people were thinking that when we were trying to make the application, people were saying, why can't you host it in Big Falls because it's beautiful and all? Harare is a bit central, and it's the easiest for us logistically to do the running around which is required for the regional meeting. So it is the easiest logistically, and it is central. And also one of the things we considered was the presence of a major airport. We have the Harare International Airport, where all the major airlines actually come, unlike the Victoria Falls International Airport, where we don't have all flights coming there. Okay. So the venue, if you see the slide, that's a ZiMSA Training Center and Conference Facility. So it is a conference facility which has hosted various conferences in the past. So on ZiMSA, it is located in Belvedere, which is a low-density suburb in Harare. We chose this location in that it is peaceful, it is serene, and it is quiet, and we thought that it would perfectly fit the condition required for the meeting. So about the facility has about 16 conference rooms, which are enough for the African Regional Meeting. All the rooms are air-conditioned with a seating capacity ranging from 35 to 250 delegates. So as you can see, it's just a picture beside of one of the conference rooms, which we can set up in any way that we may require to suit our meetings. The next slide is actually showing one of the bedrooms at ZiMSA. So the guests are accommodated in twin-bedded rooms, which have excellent room service. There's a mini bar. The rooms have Wi-Fi and access to a full range of DSTV channels. So while in Zimbabwe, you don't have to worry news or games or whatever you may want to see. On the next thing, the largest thing I think we'll want to talk about is the budget. So I'll urge you that you look up and see our budget, which is sent together with the application package and the application form. You may see if you have budget before or if you read it after this. Is actually catering for 250 delegates. We plan that we may have 250. But then when we made some inquiries into the previous African regional meetings, we thought that the number of maybe 100 to 150 is a more realistic proposition. So as such, we made the calculations and saw that we may have a deficit of $15,000 to $20,000. So this is what we would like to address in the sponsorship strategy. So as we had put out in package, we had set up as we had early registration and late registration. So we had said delegates, we wanted, I think, $160 for the early registration and $180 for the late registration. But there have been discussions around that saying that why can't you just have a flat fee for everything, as has been the past in the last regional meeting. So I think it's something which if we maybe win, if we get it, it's something which we can discuss with the regional director and the regional team. So on the sponsorship strategy, how are you planning to raise this $15,000 to $20,000? So if you saw our application package, we actually had letters of support. Unfortunately, we just included 3 letters of support, as the other support letters came in later. But I would like to stress that the letters were actually heavy, and these people are big guys who are throwing their weight behind us. So we have notified the different government departments. Read the application package, we actually have the support of the ministry. So we'll actually use that letter and all the support they can give us to raise the funds which are required, which there may be a deficit. Then, as you have noticed, we'll work closely with the Zimbabwe Medical Association, which I mentioned earlier. These guys have worked before in organizing conferences before. They organized the ICASA in 2015. They have a pretty good working relationship, given in that they'll help us in all the logistics and also financially. So would like also to note that we are very independent of them, and they are just supporting us because we are the future of the healthcare in this nation. So we also approach different sponsors from which we have supported us in the past. And as the IFMSA will approve, I'm sure that we'll be able to, I'm confident that we'll be able to raise the deficit. So the picture in the next slide is just a picture of some of our past executive members, with the minister who's in the center. And that lady is Dr. Mahomba, who is the president for Zimbabwe Medical Association. So it just shows the good relationship we have with this, the government and ZIMA, who will be coming very handy in fundraising and covering up for the deficit. So I know that many questions have been after the recent happenings in Zimbabwe. So I'll let Dean do the presentation on that, on how we are going to tackle that. Dean, over to you.
Okay. Afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to give you an insight of what has been happening in Zimbabwe. So it's a public secret that there's been a political crisis here in Zimbabwe. But we are proud, the Zimbabweans, to acknowledge that at the moment, Zimbabwe, we can safely say, is the most peaceful and most advanced, well, I can say, most peaceful nation most advanced nation in terms of handling political crises. Like, so let me give you an insight of what has been happening in Zimbabwe. There's been a smooth transition of power from the dictatorship of Robert Mugabe to his predecessor, Emerson Mnangagwa. We really like to acknowledge you that the past events that have happened in Zimbabwe, especially in November, we're done in a peaceful, respectful, and in a noble manner. There were no evidence of violence, no evidence of any human rights violation pertaining the period of transition of power from the Mugabe regime to Emerson Mnangagwa, right? So to conclude, political diversity might exist during that period or in the future, but we as ZiMSA, as a political organization, we would like to acknowledge you that the events which carried out in November were done in an African spirit of Ubuntu, which encourages peace and human respect. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dean, for that. Of note is that I just want to add on what he has said, in that we have already contacted Zima, who say that they already have some links in different government departments, and they'll come in handy in making sure that it's a very secure conference for us. But I would also like to refer you to the note which was put in our candidature form by our Vice President for Internal Affairs. I'm sure it will actually be handy for you if you see it. And also the politics of the country and the ongoings generally is the noise. The average Zimbabwean is not affected by that in terms of the violence and all. Okay. So on the last slide there, I just included a Facebook post of some guy actually in different countries. So he was actually in the country for some time during the period where we're having the transition of power. So I would like to quote the last paragraph, which he said, "What I witnessed was an extraordinary peaceful coup. The sense of amazement at the citizens of this country, even in a time of absolute chaos. I pray that this nation will be a blessing to many countries around them." So this is actually the of someone who was in the country during a time where it was said to be very tense and everything. So that post actually shows you what he observed, and he was actually saying that it was actually a very peaceful time, and Zimbabwe, I would like to tell you that it is a peaceful country. So at this point, I think we are done with our presentation. I would leave the time for questions. So that's just a picture of elephants in park, which might also be part of one of the destinations for our post-ARM. So thank you very much for listening. For this time, I'll leave for questions, which will address all of us on the panel here.
Okay, thank you. Just a second. Okay, so now we are going to start the Q&A session. So, Setria, would you like to ask the first question?
Yes. Before starting, I would like to thank everyone from ZiMSA-Zimbabwe for the very amazing presentation. You have outlined clearly many of the things that I'm sure was a mystery up until this point for the members of the African region. But yes, despite the very clear presentation, we will still have to ask the questions that have been submitted. The first question is, what are the strategy that you have in ensuring good communication with the regional team? I will allow you to answer that question first before we move forward with the next question. So please, the floor is yours. If one of you is speaking, I cannot hear it. You are muted. So if you'd like to answer the question, thank you.
Before,
could you please repeat the question for the benefit of all of us?
Can you answer the question?
Okay, I will repeat the question again. Should I repeat the question?
Yes,
okay,
please. Could you repeat the question?
What are the strategy and plans that you will use to maintain communication with the African regional team, who will be your main liaisons with IFMSA in preparing for the African regional meeting? So how will you maintain communication with the regional team?
Okay. Okay. Again. Okay. Can you hear me now? All right. So thank you very much for the question. So in terms of communication, we have been having very good communication, I would like to say, with our regional director, and we've been in contact with many of regional team. So would like to would continue our communication through our regional director, through the official IFMSA server, and also if we get elected to host this, we'll actually try and set up our website very early so that people can actually get access, and if they can have any questions, they can leave them on the website. We can have access to them. And yeah, so most of the communication will be done through the IFMSA server, the official IFMSA server, just like any meeting is done. Like, for example, how the March meeting is being conducted and all. And in addition to that, we'll also put a website pretty early to have to be interactive with everyone.
Okay, that is very good. Jamie, would you like to ask the second question?
Okay, thank you, Satya. So the second question is, do you have any safety measures for the delegates?
Okay. Masimba, would you want to answer to that, or go ahead and answer it?
And you can go ahead, but maybe I can add something.
All right. Let me go ahead and answer it. Okay. So in terms of security, we have noticed that it's something we cannot ignore because almost everyone is raising that question and that concern. So if it means a lot to every one of us, we'll try and contact the Ministry of Home Affairs, who are responsible for security, and we'll engage them and see how we can make the ARM the safest as we can. So as you've seen, we have already started contacting government departments. So it shouldn't be difficult for us to contact the Ministry of Home Affairs, and also if there is the need, we'll try and beef up security at the facility. But from what we know, but yeah, we don't need to do that. And we'll also contact different embassies of the different delegates who are coming, so that they can assess the situation and they can give their own opinion.
Okay. So
sorry.
Yep. Okay, Satya, would you like to ask the next question?
Yep. So for the thank you so much for that really good answer, first of all. And I do understand as well that you have outlined that in your presentation. So your additional explanation is indeed very much appreciated. Now, the third question, sorry, Jamie, can I just ask first if the live stream is online right now?
Yes, it is on the air right now.
Okay. So the third question is, in case of, you said that there was around 15,000 United States dollars to 20,000 United States dollars of fundraising you would need to do if you are selected as host. In case of funds that are not enough, do you have a backup plan, or do you have a way to make sure that the event goes through even with the limited amount of money? For example, by moving the event to another place, or by cutting down on some of the expenditures that you have planned to make sure that the event can operate with less money in case you don't have you cannot achieve any additional funds from the sources you have planned. What would you do to make sure that the event goes through? The question is, Duncan, I think you are muted right now, so I cannot hear you. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for the question. So when we're actually making the preparation for this application package, we had shortlisted three alternative venues for this, which one of it is a bit more expensive and the other one is cheaper. So in terms of an alternative venue, yes, we do have an alternative venue for it, which is actually cheaper for this. And if you saw our application package, we have two budgets. We have a cheaper one and a greater one. There are actually things which we can cut down on that budget, and we can have the African regional meeting actually going through in a manner which will actually satisfy everyone. And I would also want to reiterate on that we have the support of ZiMA, and they've already thrown in a lot of weight behind us. Should anything go in an unexpected way, these guys can always chip in, because we have depended on these guys for a long time and they've supported us before. So like I've said before, we are not depending on them entirely, but if anything goes wrong or should we need any further funding to curb any measures, we'll actually contact them, and I'm sure they'll be there to help.
All right, thank you very much. That sounds great. That you also
and
have
also
alternatives.
maybe if I can
add, sorry, continue.
Can I add?
Yep, you can.
All right, thank you. So when the application was made, the regional director actually gave us two alternative dates, or alternative periods rather, of when we could have the ARM. So we actually chose the date which is sooner to us than the other one. So if the need is there, which we doubt, we have the room to put it to another date, which is after the August meeting in September, as the regional director had put it. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay, that sounds really great. I just have one more question before giving the floor back to Jamie. On the visa, I know that a lot Zimbabwe has visa provisions, the provision deals with a lot of countries that you give visa on arrival to many countries in the world, and visa-free access as well. My country being one of those who will be able to benefit from visa on arrival. But for the other participants from the African region or from beyond, what measures would you take to make sure that everyone will be able to receive their visas on time and be able to participate in the African regional meeting?
Okay. So should I answer on behalf? Okay, let me just answer this one since I've been active in organizing and approaching the ministries. So basically, the association is engaged in several ministries, with the Ministry of Migration being the one. Definitely, getting visas for foreigners is not going to be an issue. They'll get their visas on arrivals, and we had since made engagements with them for other activities to invite other students in Zimbabwe. So getting visas will not be a problem. We have already made moves in securing visas for our visitors. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe if I can add a bit on what is said. If you look at our application package, the last page, there's actually a letter from the principal director of the Department of Immigration stating that they have already been notified of the possibility of us hosting this African regional meeting. And they know that the reason why we're coming, delegates will be coming here for. So like what Dean said, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Thank you very much. Will somebody continue with the answer, or are you finished with that question?
We are finished.
All right. Then I will be giving the floor back to Jamie. Would you like to continue the question and answers?
So, yeah. Alaa, would you like to ask any question?
Actually, yes, I would just like to comment on the visas and stuff, because like as you wrote down on your candidature that there's 3 categories for countries, A and B and C. So Group A will not need a visa at all, and Group B will need a visa on arrival. But about Group C, they need to issue a visa, prior their departure. And hence that Zimbabwe, they don't have like many embassies. It's just from 5 to 6 embassies around Africa. So are they going to be able to get visa upon arrival as well, or like what do you guys have for them? Thank you.
Okay. Just a quick answer before the president answers. So, like what the president mentioned in his presentation, you mentioned about creating a website. So basically, for some visitors, from my experience now, some can get their visas from online. So by use of the website, I guess it can be another strategy we can use so that we can highlight that visas can be you can get a visa through the website. I think you can add on something there on the visas as well. Philip.
Okay, so on the category C, there is actually the option of an online application. So since we have already contacted the department, I would like to believe that it won't be as difficult to get it. And I have friends, I have known of people in the past who have applied specifically from Nigeria. They were actually commending the system, saying that it's actually relatively easy when you compare to other countries. And also, if you noticed on our prospective organizing committee, we actually have people a person responsible for the visa. So should you need any assistance, if we get elected to host this, there will be a person on stand to help in the acquisition of the visa.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you, Alaa. So now we don't have any questions. That we have asked all the pre-submitted questions. So I would like to hear once again. I would like to thank ZiMSA-Zimbabwe for your candidature, and also, I would like to thank everyone who is in front of their laptop watching this live streaming. So, so after this online candidature presentation, we will have online voting for the African NMOs. And as stated on the timeline, that we will announce the results of the online voting on December 20th. So African animals can expect a letter from the executive board regarding the instructions of the following steps for the online voting. So, Setra or Ala, would you like to say anything before we end?
From my side, I would just like to thank ZiMSA-Zimbabwe very much for taking this initiative to apply and submitting a very good candidature. And I'm sure that if you guys get elected, you will do a very good job. We will just stay in touch. And yes, thank you very much.
For me, I would like to echo Ala's statement. Thank you very much for the undoubtedly strong preparation that ZiMSA has been doing so far to submit the application form, and also to hopefully after the voting, if you are voted, to begin the preparation. To the African NMOs, please continue to learn more from the application package that has been shared with you, and also rewatch this webinar when you are able, so that you will vote with the full knowledge of what ZiMSA will offer for the African regional meeting, and that whatever vote you cast will be a fully informed one. And that's it for me. Thank you very much for the time.
Okay, thank you, Satria and Ala. Thank you, ZiMSA-Zimbabwe. So now we will end this online presentation of the African Regional Meeting 2018 host selection. So thank you, everyone. This video will be saved and will be shared, and the link of this video will be shared through African Animal Server. So you'll be able to watch this video even if you're not able to catch up the live stream. Okay, thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Bye.